I'd like to call to order the Marshall City Council meeting for Monday, October 7th, 2019. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Karen.
Here.
Councilmember Gates.
Here.
Councilmember McNeil.
Here.
Councilmember Metzger. Here. Councilmember Traver.
Here.
Councilmember Underhill.
Here.
Councilmember Wolfersberger.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
We will start this evening with an invocation from Chris Tarkowitz from the Family Bible Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you like, would you join me for prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, we begin by saying thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here. Thank you for the gift of life, the breath we breathe in this day, and your daily provision. Tonight I pray for Mayor Karen, this council, Nick, Jacob, Scott, Michael, Ryan, and the various city officials who are gathered here tonight. Thank you for their ability and desire to serve this community. Lord, would you please grant them wisdom to govern well, harmony to work together, eyes to see the needs of the people of this community, and a willingness to serve well. We pray together for those in this before the agenda before us, and may what is accomplished here be a blessing and a benefit to those who live and work in Marshall. It's in your name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit that we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will start this evening with the approval of the agenda, starting with public comment on agenda items, followed by the consent agenda. Item 8A is a presentation, Joel Langlois, candidate for Congress, followed by item 12A, we have the Marshall Area Farmers Market Manager Contract. Item 12B, the Perrin Dam Water Main Relocation. Item 12C, possible creation of a South and North Neighborhood Improvement Authority. Item 12D, we have the creation of Fire Chief and Police Chief positions. Item 12E, we have the Marshall Avenue Bridge Guardrail. Under items 13A, we have the Marshall District Library Board appointment. Under 13B, we have Marshall Farmers Market Advisory Board appointment, followed by public comment on agenda items, and then entering into closed session under Section 8A of the Michigan Open Meetings Act to discuss the performance evaluation of the city manager. I'd like to add item 9A under informational items, the event report for the Halloween Hustle. Any other questions or changes on the agenda? Seeing none, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved. Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That moves us on to item 6, public comment on agenda items. Anyone wishing to address the council has 5 minutes to do so. State your name and address for the record. All right, hearing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. So for item 7A, we have to schedule the public hearing for the PA 425 conditional land transfer with Marshall Township for 15325 West Michigan Avenue. 7B is the chain of command appointments. 7C, we have the trade permit plan review fee. Item 7D, we have the city council minutes for the regular session on Monday, September 16th, 2019. 7E, we have city bills totaling the amount of $894.45. Questions or adjustments on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Do a roll call vote, please.
Member Gates.
Yes.
Member McNeil.
Yes.
Member Metzger.
Yes.
Member Traver.
Yes.
Member Underhill.
Yes.
Member Wolfersberger.
Yes.
Mayor Karen.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. That moves us on to item 8A, under presentations and recognitions. I'd like to invite Joel Langlois up to present.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. I'm Joel Langline. Thank you for allowing me to come and speak to you guys. I am running for 3rd Congressional District to replace Justin Amash. I am just a little about myself. I'm a businessman from Grand Rapids. I'm a lifelong resident of West Michigan. I grew up on the north side of town, in kind of the farming community, grew up working on farms, and actually when I was a kid I had a paper route for the Detroit Free Press. For those of you who remember the Detroit Free Press, it was a morning paper, so it was every morning at 5 o'clock I would get up before school and go deliver papers, which helped me to develop a work ethic, a strong work ethic. I look at Congress today and I get frustrated with what's going on in Congress. I get frustrated with all the garbage. They're not doing the work of the people, and Justin Amash is leading the charge for impeachment. So I got frustrated when I saw that and decided that somebody needs to do something, and I'm the kind of guy that steps up to do things when I see something that needs to be done. I'm not a politician. I'm a business guy. I've started businesses in West Michigan. I started my first business just getting out of high school. I've been successful. West Michigan's been very good to me, and it's time for me to get back to West Michigan. I have 4 kids, multiple foster kids, got grandkids from my kids and grandkids from foster kids. It gave me a great experience. God's been good to me, and I think He's calling me to run, to do the right thing for West Michigan. I look at Congress and I get frustrated with what I see. When I saw President Trump decide to run, it really inspired me that it's time to take some of the career politicians out of Congress and put people that understand what it's like to work, understand the problems that we as Americans run into every day. And we have too many career politicians and too many people without real-world experience trying to run the government for us, and they're not getting things done. Mosh, again, leads the charge. He's too busy trying to get impeachment done to listen to what the people need to have done. I would commit as a congressman to stay in contact with the people that I represent, including the elected officials who have their finger on the pulse of what's going on in their communities. I would love to have any of you who would want to contact me and talk to me about issues that you guys face. I would welcome that communication. I'd love to meet with you. If you want to help on my campaign or you just want to talk about what's going on, please reach out to me. I'm here. This is a challenge. I've taken on lots of challenges in my life, and I've never been unsuccessful. I'm committed to this challenge, and I'm going to win. I'm going to work hard. I've been in Marshall just in the last 2 months since I declared, probably more times than Justin Amash has been here in the 9 years he's been in office. I'm here to do the right thing for you people and for the people in the district. So if you have any questions, please contact me. If you want to help, please contact me. If you just want to sit down and talk, whether we agree on issues or we don't see eye to eye on issues, I still would like to talk. So if anyone has any questions, I'm available to take them. Otherwise, thanks again for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So next, under informal items, 9A, we have the event report for the Halloween Hustle. Chief McDonald, would you be able to go over that with us?
All right, go ahead and take this.
Okay.
This came in today, because the hustle is prior to your next meeting, we thought we'd bring it to you. This is, I guess I can't remember what year this is, how many years I've been doing this, but again, it's pretty much off state highways, just around the more the west side of town, goes over to the east side a little bit on Gordon. But again, this is a fundraiser that has been done for United Way.
Thank you. Any questions on the Halloween Hustle? Excellent. So that will move us on to item 12A, the Marshall Area Farmers Market Manager's Contract. And Tom's going to bring us up to date on that.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, if I may, I'd like to ask to recuse myself from this line item as it pertains to my household.
Okay. So we would seek a motion to recuse Scott from the vote.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you.
As I start, I'd like Marty, if you would, or Marty and Pam, I'm not sure what your plan is. So if you remember a little over a year ago, Jen Rice became our new market manager after Linda Zerbe really took that role on, and I think she was one of the first. And Mr. Overheiser is chair of the advisory board, and they are recommending that we enter into a contract with Pam Wolfersberger. So, Marty, we want to take it from there?
Yes, we want to thank Jen Rice for her service and really moving the market forward this last year. But after she took the market manager's position, she then took on the fair manager's position, and I think she's found that the two jobs are a little more than she wants to try to handle. Pam has been a volunteer at the market for the last couple years, knows the market operation, is enthusiastic. She wants the job, okay? and we didn't want her to get away and find another job that she liked better. So we're anxious to get her on board. We'd like her to start the 1st of November. Jen Rice will be available through November and beyond to help in the transition. So it'll be a very smooth transition, and we're happy to recommend Pam to be the new market manager starting the 1st of November. Any questions?
Good choice.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marty.
There is an agreement that's attached that if you desire to move forward to approve that agreement with Pam.
Okay. Pam, I know most of us probably know you, but would you like to come up and introduce yourself?
I'm Pam Wolfersberger. I've been in Marshall for 10 years. My previous career, I continue. I am a certified registered nurse anesthetist. I have managerial experience and budget experience dealing with the anesthesia departments, both here and in Missouri, where I was from. And I just found working at the market filled a niche that I totally enjoyed. I believe we should all care about where our food comes from, and I'd like to see more of us get involved. So the goal is to start recruiting high school kids to come and help. I've talked to a few, and they're all kind of on board, so I'm excited. So.
Thank you. We appreciate that, Pam. We're excited for your energy, and the market keeps growing, and I just know that with you behind the wheel, it will continue to do so. All right, so the recommendation is to execute a contract with Pam Wolfersberger as contracted service provider to perform the market manager duties as of November 1st, 2019.
Moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Pam.
It was short-lived for you, Scott.
So next, I'd like to invite Aaron up to speak on the Perrin Dam water main relocation. Item 12 be on our agenda tonight.
Good evening. A little over a year ago, we were informed that the Perrin Dam water main, or the Perrin Dam, the remediation project was going forward. During investigation, we found that the water main was either in close proximity or directly underneath the dam. So any work that needs to be done to the dam or to the river to stop the water could potentially break this water main. We feel that it is necessary to relocate this water main around the dam from the intersection of Maple and River Road across to the DPW garage. This will also replace an aging water main at the DPW garage that is a dead end. They have some pretty bad water over there, so we'll up that. This water main is a loop to the industrial park directly from the water plant itself, so it is needed for the city, for the industrial park, for the water tower. The city went out for bid. Dunnigan Brothers of Jackson, Michigan was the low bidder at $701,112.60. Also, Stantec Consulting of Ann Arbor, who designed the water main, was also contacted for proposal for construction engineering for $114,100. It is recommended to approve the bid from Dunnigan Brothers of Jackson, Michigan, with a contingency of $222 for the water main construction. The construction engineering services with Stantec Consulting of Ann Arbor for $114,100. And then it is also asked that council approve the budget amendment in the amount of $1,081,589 for the capital outlay. John made me put that in there. This is all part of the July 2019 water bond as well.
So the existing main will just be abandoned?
Yes. Yes, we will connect the new one at Hudson and Homer Road, and then abandon what is left underneath the river between Maple and Stewart's Landing.
Is it my understanding that Stantec Consulting will be somewhat of the oversight on this project during the construction, a lot like we had during our Michigan Avenue?
Yes, exactly like that. They did a fantastic job downtown, where we cannot be there all the time because of many other things that go on in the city. They took care of all the engineering and all the planning, everything that deals with the contractor directly, with customers, and also mapping of everything so we can put it into our GIS the way it is built and not guess.
Right.
The other thing, at the north end of the project, it's very close to the railroad tracks, and Amtrak and MDOT will be watching our activities, so having somebody there full-time is important. The other thing is we're boring underneath the river. We're going to be 30 feet below the river. I think that.
I believe so. We had to be at least, 10 feet. We decided because of the angle we have to go at in close proximity to the river, we had to go deeper.
So we had to get multiple permits through Eagle, and it's not an easy project to do. I've worked with Dunnigan in my career several times, and they always take on the hard projects. So they've been in business over 50 years. I'm not sure how far back they go, but I know I've worked with them. So we've got the opportunity with a good contractor.
When would we expect the work to start?
As soon as the contractor can. We would expect them, we will ask them to start this fall yet. We were kind of leaving it up to them, whether they could start this fall or start in the spring, as long as it was done before June 30th of next year.
Any additional questions for Aaron on the water main relocation? Thank you, Aaron. So the recommendation is to approve the bid from Dunnigan Brothers of Jackson, Michigan in an amount of $701,112.60 with a contingency of $140,222 for water main construction, and to approve construction engineering services from Stantec Consulting of Ann Arbor, Michigan in the amount of $114,100. It's further recommended to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $1,081,598 for account 591-900-970.13 capital outlay for the Perrin Dam water main relocation. So I would seek a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Member McNeil?
Yes.
Member Metzger?
Yes.
Member Traver?
Yes.
Member Underhill?
Yes.
Member Wolfersberger?
Yes.
Mayor Karen?
Yes.
Member Gates?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. That moves us on to item 12C, the possible creation of a South and North Neighborhood Improvement Authority.
I'm going to have John and Eric both come up, and I'll start. A couple months ago, well, at the end of last year, we created what was called the Northeast Neighborhood Improvement Area for the old Golden Rule property on East Drive. That is still there. The county has not decided how they're going to release that. We've been contacted by a developer who wants to, develop on the south side. So this is, the south one is for that potential development. We also were approached by a property owner on the north side by Gordon Street that would, has been trying to sell his land, and this, he feels, would be able to help the developer, whoever would buy his land, to develop the land. It could be approximately 10 homes. There's a rough sketch that he had put together. So it's a tool in their toolboxes to get residential development here. And so that's why you've got both, you know, there's two of them tonight. And I'm going to let either John or Eric, whoever has decided to talk first.
Thanks, Tom. Didn't expect to talk tonight. This is more or less like selling the intent to sell bonds. This doesn't bind us to anything. It just is going to set the public hearing, and we'll find out at that hearing the council wants to proceed. I think it's the right thing to do. It's worth a chance. It's a tool in our toolbox, and I hope that this spurs development and some affordable housing. Like I said, it's the intent to do something. It doesn't bind us to do it. Of course, we want to proceed with it, but
I have a couple questions. The one that you're asking for the north neighborhood, why would we want that?
Again, it'd be for the seller, a tool that he could then market his property knowing that there's a neighborhood improvement authority, which helps with the capital cost of developing that land.
One person's property?
It would, well, the map that we sent you.
I saw the map.
We're picking up, there are some other vacant properties that are developable up in that area. So we went to the south a little, off of Ferguson. There's quite a bit of vacant land. So there are, similar to the northeast, I believe we had about 4 parcels that potentially could be dealt, 4 or 5. So there are some other potential here that if someone came and wanted to do multiple, residential housing, that they could. So this opens up some of those parcels for people to develop.
A couple more questions. When you say vacant land, is it someone's property you're talking about?
Yes, it's property
So it's
that.
not vacant, it just doesn't have anything on that land they own, correct?
Right.
Some of them are wooded lots that are just haven't
Right.
been developed, but are developable. How about developable land? Would be a big.
Depending on
accurate.
asking the homeowner that.
Right, but it's if the homeowner decided to sell their property, they could. This would be a tool.
If.
Yeah, if.
You see, and then the other one I can understand, obviously on the south side. But we haven't even seen any outcomes from the current one. We are still not even developed that properties.
No, in the beginning, it's just setting the framework. The county did a presentation, or has done a couple presentations through the land bank of ideas. They're going to do an RFQ to see who might be interested in developing that. But again, it's a tool right in the beginning that they have, which can save them considerable amount of money of the upfront cost. Typically, a infrastructure for a lot will run anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 to $40,000 per lot, and so that all those costs can be captured by the tax future tax base, and that's what it's about. So, but the county land bank is moving slower than we all anticipated, but they are in the next couple of months going out with our RFP.
John, can you remind me on the if these properties are developed and they become taxable properties, that is, all of that is captured in this, correct?
The incremental increase from the base year,
Yep.
yes.
So do you have a sense of how many total properties would be affected by these two new neighborhoods?
The north one is 71 properties. In the south, I honestly
Quite a few
don't know.
more.
More, you said?
Quite a few more.
I believe 180 some properties.
And is it fair to say that anything that is incrementally captured would not then be available to things in the general fund?
Yes.
So it's retained within that district? Okay.
But again, like we talked before, was the Act 51 money and some of that that would be used for these developments can now be spread out in the rest of the city.
One thing as I look at the map here is on the south, there are 3 properties, 2 north of Hughes, 1 south of Hughes that have great potential for development. They're large parcels.
That's the one I can understand almost, because you involve big development opportunity there. But the north one, and 2, you know, when we looked at our budget, and that's probably what you were trying to get at, and you gave us a forecast, it was pretty grim that we're going to have some issues in the next few years. So if we keep taking monies away from the general fund, how are we going to balance our budgets?
It's going to be tough. But if we don't have this tool, we may have no development.
Well, we are,
I mean,
I'm
it's
still waiting.
the chicken and the egg. I mean, what spurs the development? And we're hoping and betting on the NIAs.
Other questions for John or Eric?
Actually, just one more, if I may.
Yeah.
As I recall, when we did the one last year, it was pretty new law in Michigan for these to exist. Has there been others developed that we have outside of Marshall, obviously, that have where this law has a track record now?
The only other NIA that I'm aware of is the city of Flushing. And I honestly do not know if it spurred development in the city of Flushing or not.
City of Coldwater just had a public hearing regarding creation of one of the northeast side of town. So they saw what we did last year, and they're using it to extend infrastructure to that area. It's been developed for 30 years.
I get requests for information too.
All right, any further questions for John or Eric?
I guess my only other question is timing. So we are fairly new to this. So quickly creating 2 additional entities candidly is a bit concerning for me. We haven't seen whether or not these are beneficial to our community. Do we have a sense that there is a real level of urgency around potential development that we could lose if we're not creating these?
First on the north, the property owner contacted me looking for ways that would make the land more valuable to a seller. And that land is for sale right now for, I believe, around $69,000. And there's potentially 10 lots there. So if you do the math, each lot would sell for $6,900 for buildable for a home. If the NIA was not there, we ran the numbers, it would be about $45,000 per lot for capital infrastructure. So now you have a $52,000 lot, which is not going to sell in our community.
Right.
So that would basically, if this tool wasn't there for a future developer, it would not happen. I mean, lots in town are more in the $30,000 range, I believe. So without this tool, that north, again, would not develop. The south, again, the golf course has been purchased. It's out there public now. and the developer is moving forward, and he definitely wants to use this tool to develop that golf course area. And that'll be a long-term project because of the amount of housing that could fit on 100 acres. They're probably going to possibly keep some of the golf course open for a little while, but again, they're going to be strategically looking at phasing this project over quite a while. And just, we did a quick estimate of 19 lots that are already platted down on the south. Those 19 lots, the infrastructure for that, I believe, is $480,000. So now, doing the math there, that's $25,000 to $30,000 for infrastructure there, which makes that a more affordable, but again, enticing the developer here to build. They want to sell homes as quickly as they can. We've done some of the numbers, so we know what areas are going to cost.
But we already have the developer for the south side, correct?
We have somebody who has bought the land. We have not seen any plans.
So is there a reason we have to present them both at the same time?
No, actually, what we did is not to confuse, we've staggered the public hearings because having two groups of people from two different neighborhoods here at the same time, we thought it would just be better to stagger it. The south, I think, is more imminent. I mean, they want to develop as soon as possible. So I would say there's some criticalness to that. The north doesn't have a buyer at this point. The only thing they could market that is saying the city might consider versus the city has. So that would be on the north. You could, again, that's your call.
The only other thing I would add to that is the timeframe. From a tax chapter standpoint, they want to get it in under the 2019 value. If we wait too long on either one of them, we just lose 19 as the base year.
Right.
So if they start development at all, then the taxes will be there to support the first year.
So just so, sorry, maybe Tom or Trish for you, so I'm clear on the language here. If I am not comfortable with proceeding with a public hearing for the north, I would vote no on this, correct? Because they are presented together.
There's two separate resolutions. You can, in the recommendation, you have the right to take each resolution
I
separately.
would want to take them separately.
And so just be motions, so, and then we would still probably prefer to see it as two.
Okay.
So that the state keeps it separate also when we deal with them.
And to clarify again about, so it is possible that you could create this area, be capturing incremental tax increases for the existing lots, and then nobody develops.
Correct.
And so what then happens to that money that's been captured?
Those captured dollars can be used in the area for public improvements. For instance, the Northeast has collected about $10,000.
Correct.
So if the Northeast, say none of those 4 or 5 developments occur, that $10,000 could be used for road improvements, sidewalk installation,
Street lights.
anything related, as long as it was in that geographic area.
Okay.
But it doesn't pay for firefighters or the police or?
It does not.
The
We'll
big
just
ticket items.
I'll just make one comment. I've got, I don't even know how many lots are available in my little neighborhood that have ranged in price in the years that I've lived there, anywhere from $35,000 are currently priced at $45,000. There hasn't been construction on any of those lots in over 10 years.
Nope.
So those have city services extended
They
already?
do, yeah. Well, except for the ones farther down where the street didn't go, but.
it dead end.
But there's fire service and telephone service, all that stuff was put in, it's just no road.
All right.
Okay, any other questions? All right, so we will move forward with these separately. Thank you. So we will start with the South NIA. So consider the recommendation to adopt the resolution of intent to create a South NIA and to schedule the public hearing to receive public comment concerning the creation of the South NIA on November 18, 2019.
So moved.
Support.
So we have a motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The second would be the recommendation to adopt the North NIA and to schedule a public hearing to receive public comment concerning the creation on the North NIA December 16, 2019.
So move. Support.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion,
Can I do a roll call?
oh, sure.
Member Gates?
Yes.
Member McNeil?
No.
Member Metzger?
No.
Member Traver?
No.
Member Underhill?
No.
Member Wolfersberger?
Yes.
Mayor Karen?
No.
Motion defeated.
Thank you. Now that moves us on to item 12D, the creation of the fire chief and police chief positions. Tom?
As the community is aware, Director Schwartz retired about a week and a half ago, and I was fortunate to be able to promote Deputy Director McDonald to the director's position. After discussions with the director, we felt that to move both departments forward is that we should have a fire chief with experience in the fire service to direct that department into the future, and likewise former Deputy Director McDonald's position. He's recommending that we create, instead of a deputy director, a police chief position. Both of the fire chief and police chief would report to Director McDonald and coordinate activities. The reason we're bringing this to you is because neither one of those positions had an approved salary. When you did salaries back in May, by charter, you approved salaries, and those were not positions that were at that time anticipated. And so tonight we're asking that you would approve those two chief positions.
Any questions or discussion?
I do have one question, and I like the idea of putting it back the way it used to be. I think it was more efficient. I think everyone liked it a lot better, including police and fire. Where are we getting the dollars for this?
I talked with John Bartlett about this because the police chief side, the funds are there from Scott's old position. So it's really on the fire side. And I never like talking for my finance director because I did contact John, and John, do you want, you can address maybe better?
Yeah, based on the wages of 76,000, healthcare, life insurance, they don't pay hardly any FICA, they don't pay the medic portion of the FICA, and so that's where we came up with the $98,000 this whole salary.
And I appreciate that, but when we say that there's a physical effect of the 98,000, where are those dollars coming from?
We had a really good year last year, and it looks like we're having a really good year this year.
initially?
Because they were not budgeted.
So this is part of the reserve? that we're-
Yes. And then next year will be budgeted accordingly. Just, we had the surplus last year. You'll be receiving the audit here in about a month, I think. And the year before, we've had some good years where we've increased our fund reserves and our surplus.
Okay, I would, I'd be nice if you just put down a physical effect, we need to take it out of the reserve, because it doesn't necessarily say that.
Okay.
And it would be 3/4 of the year would be
Right.
impacted.
Thank you.
What will be the, so this is an additional position for the fire department. Will it
Correct.
affect our number of firefighters available for staff, or is it?
Well, this position, and I don't want to speak for Scott, but maybe we should let him come up here for the first, not the first time, but come on up, Scott. Just, we're anticipating this position to be an 8 to 5 job. Again, we're always on emergency call. While the firefighters, the 7 firefighters we have 24-hour shifts. One of the positions pretty typically is a swing shift, but I'm not sure what else you want to add to that, Scott, about.
Well, some of you will recall, we had a deputy chief at one time. We went through some budget problems, and he's since moved on. So I don't want to call it a leadership void, but I've got 3 separate supervisors down there running 3 separate shifts, and there's really nobody, I guess, steering the boat, for lack of a better word. I mean, I will grab the helm and take care of the budget and some of the rules and regulations, and quite candidly, I'd like to look at accreditation like I'm doing through the police department. That's a full-time thing. I think our firefighters in our community deserve a professional who's dedicated his life just to fire and rescue service, to get some things, to give some guidance to these folks and to make the department stronger.
I agree.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Questions? All right.
We won't pick on you quite yet.
All right, so the recommendation is to support the creation of a fire chief position at a not-to-exceed salary of $76,000 and to change the title of deputy police chief to police chief. It is also recommended to approve a budget increase in an amount of $98,200 in the fire department budget.
So moved.
Support. A motion and support. A roll call vote, please.
Member Traver?
Yes.
Member Underhill?
Yes.
Member Wolfersberger?
Yes.
Mayor Karen?
Yes.
Member Gates?
Yes.
Member McNeil?
Yes.
Member Metzger?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried.
And just while we're on the fire department part, we have bingo here tonight. That's our arson dog.
She's trying to be quiet back here.
She is doing a great job.
And thank you to State Farm for getting bingo for us.
It was worth it for me.
So that moves us on to item 12E, the Marshall Avenue Bridge guardrail.
This past summer, as you all know, one of the walls on the Marshall Avenue Bridge over Rice Creek slid into the river. We did a repair on it, on the wall, and to keep it together, we in effect did it like a vise and squeezed it together. But the last piece of it is to do the guardrail. At that time, we just had Davis Construction, who was working over on the Monroe Street Bridge, come in and do the fix. And so we had Rowe Engineering, who was the designer of the Monroe Street Bridge, come up with a design to, again, temporarily make this safe so that we can get pedestrians down the sidewalk. If you've been down there, there's solid concrete barriers because there's still a hole in the railing. Rowe designed a system. They had estimated around $83,000. We had 3 bidders come back, and Nationwide Construction, who deal basically in guardrails, that's their expertise, were able to bid on this, and we're the low bid. And so we're recommending to finish that job, make it safe until we can get a grant to replace that bridge, to approve the guardrail replacement as presented.
Tom, if this were to be approved, do you have any idea of their timeline of the project?
I did not bring their bids, but I would think they'd get on it right away. We're hoping that tomorrow purchasing will get the necessary insurance documents. We'll get a signed proposal, or we'll accept their proposal, and then have them get on this as quickly as they can in their schedule. Our goal is to absolutely get that done as quick as possible, especially with some of the walkers to Hughes School. We like to, and there are a lot of other walkers that use that area to get them out of the street before the weather turns bad.
Yeah, especially during the fair, there was a lot of pedestrian traffic through there. Just curious, will this result, I'm assuming this will result in either a lane closure or closure of the bridge again?
It probably be lane closures, or if there was a need to do the whole bridge, it would be very short-lived. So it's going to be a very quick project for them to do.
Will that railing match what's up there currently, or at least part of it
Will it?
match?
No. No, it is not going to be pretty. It is a temporary fix. To put back and construct a Marshall sandstone like that would cost a lot. So it's basically using some of the guardrail, and so it's not going to be as pretty as it was. That would be our intent to do that. This is going to be very functional to protect anybody from driving off. And, you know, it's not, that is not there just for pedestrians. It's for cars to go through into the creek. So.
And to clarify then, our long-term goal would be to get a grant to fund a
Right.
full rehab of that bridge. Okay.
Yeah, we would be applying as soon as we can, if hopefully we can find a staff member to take over Kristen's old role. And if not, it's going to go on Eric's list, so.
That'd be a long list.
And this too is funded from the reserves?
No, this is coming from our major streets capital
Okay.
funds that we have.
Have you
Well-
seen a picture of it? Just curious.
Pardon?
Have you seen a picture?
Of what the guardrail is, the proposed? I've got the plans here. I can dig them out from my files here, if you want to see it. But
Okay.
it'll take a little while to find it, so.
Not now.
Okay.
All right, any further questions? So the recommendation is to accept the bid from Nationwide Construction of Richmond, Michigan in an amount of $45,315.06, plus a contingency amount of $5,000 for repairs to the guardrail on the Marshall Avenue Bridge over Rice Creek. It's also recommended that council approve a budget amendment increase for account 202-900-970.00 Major Streets Capital Outlay of $50,315.06. Seek a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. Roll call vote, please.
Member Wolfersberger?
Yes.
Mayor Karen?
Yes.
Member Gates?
Yes.
Member McNeil?
Yes.
Member Metzger?
Yes.
Member Traver?
Yes.
Member Underhill?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. That moves us to item 13 on the agenda, appointments and elections. Item 13A is the Marshall District Library Board appointment. The recommendation is to approve the appointment of M.J. Harding Minkwik to the Marshall District Library Board with a term expiring March 31st of 2020. Seek a motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, item 13B, we have the Marshall Farmers Market Advisory Board. The recommendation is to approve the appointment of Ron Ducheney to the Farmers Market Advisory Board with a term expiring October 20th of 2022, and the reappointment of Kathy Miller and Marty Oberheiser with terms expiring October 20th of 2022.
May I say something, just really quickly? I just want to say, for the last year, I've been working as the liaison for the Farmers Market Board, and I just wanted to take a moment to express gratitude. Having seen Marty and Kathy in action, we're very fortunate to have such dedicated folks on that board. And I appreciate everything they do. I mean, we certainly would not have such a vibrant and successful market without those folks.
So are you making a motion to approve?
Yeah, well, I'm at it. I guess I'll make a motion to,
All right,
yeah.
do we have support? Support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. That brings us to public comment on non-agenda items. Anyone wishing to address the council may do so for a maximum of 5 minutes. State your name and address for the record.
Marty Overheiser, 215 North Marshall Avenue. While you've been talking about the market tonight, I'd just like to plant a seed in your minds. We've all watched the downtown improvements progress, the concrete improvements, so we're now, I think, pretty much up to snuff on our barrier-free sidewalks and ramps, and the one thing the Farmers Market Advisory Board has talked about is the summer market that we have at the Green Street parking lot. We have numerous trip hazards, if you've been there. So I think our number one priority is to do a major makeover of that parking lot and make it barrier-free like it is downtown now, so we can accommodate everyone in wheelchairs and challenged mobility people. I believe there is a project in the capital improvements plan for the market. It's really hasn't taken much shape yet, but I think this next year, and maybe we can work with your special projects person and get that pushed up the ladder a little bit on the priorities. The market has accumulated a small balance. I think we could probably pop for some initial engineering. I think we could do a community fundraiser. We would hope that the city would pop for some of that cost also. So I guess hopefully a project coming on down the road for a while. And then for the market itself, you may know that the summer market is run at the Green Street parking lot across from the library, and it runs May through October, Saturday mornings from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Last winter's market was at the B.E. Henry Building, but this winter we're going to be at the Floral Hall at the fairgrounds, and the market will begin there the 1st of November and run through the end of April. The Floral Hall venue gives us more space than B.E. Henry Building did, so we'll be able to hopefully attract some more vendors for the winter market. So I think the market has grown substantially since the city formally took it over, and we've been paying a manager. The first few years it was in the parking lot next to the Brooks Building, and it was nobody was paid. It was ragtag volunteers, but it's now pretty well organized, and it's really one of the better markets in the area, I believe. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Matt Parks, President, Local 1929, and I'm also the President of our Marshall Fire Association. And on just behalf of both groups, I just want to thank the council for approving this fire chief position, and we look forward to working with Director McDonald in the future. I just want to thank you guys for that.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing in our friend.
All right, not hearing any other public comment, we will move on to council and manager communications. Member Traver?
I don't have anything.
Member Underhill? Member Metzger? Staff?
Unfortunately, I told the council today is that the paving in the downtown does not look like it's going to happen. It'll be next year. The contractor still is on strike, but has not been able to assemble crews. So unfortunately, we're going to have to live with the pavement as is for the winter. But then in spring or summer, once they get hopefully their strike resolved and their crews in operation, then we'll know a schedule. But I just want to let the public know that what you see down there is temporary. It's not real pretty, but it will be, we'll have that for the winter, and then the new pavement will be occurring in spring and early summer. And I believe that's all I have.
Member Wolfersberger?
We did have an NIA meeting in September. I took over as chair as of the NIA. Rich Lindsay is no longer there as he's no longer with Oaklawn, so we had to hold elections anyway, but still waiting to see what exactly the land bank decides to do with the property, but they do have ideas, so we'll see where it goes.
Member Gates?
Nothing from me.
Member McNeil?
Nothing.
Thank you. All right, I will seek a motion to enter into closed session under Section 8A of the Michigan Open Meetings Act to discuss the periodic performance evaluation of the city manager.
So moved.
Support.
We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Member Gates?
Yes.
Member McNeil?
Yes.
Member Metzger?
Yes.
Member Traver?
Yes.
Member Underhill?
Yes.
Member Wolfersberger?
Yes.
Mayor Karen?
Yes.
Motion carried.